My name is Dakira, and I'm a dietitian that helps women to heal from recurring vaginal infections. And today we're going to be talking about the gut-vagina connection and how your gut health determines your vaginal health. But before that, make sure you are following my TikTok page, Vag Healing Nutrition. It's VAJ, where I post daily about vaginal healing tips if you deal with recurring yeast infections, BV, UTIs, aerobic vaginitis, cytolytic vaginosis, any of those conditions. Also, you can purchase my Vag Reset ebook that's going to be listed down below, as well as join the Vag Reset program if you're dealing with recurring vaginal infections and you're looking for a holistic mind, body, spirit healing approach where you focus on nutrition, manifestation, and mindset work to help you heal the recurring vaginal infections for good. So, as a dietitian, not we all, but I know the importance of gut health and that your gut health determines your health in general because everything starts within the gut for the most part, right? So, there is a direct correlation between your gut health and your vaginal health. And we're all familiar with the gut brain axis, which is the most studied communication pathway when it comes to gut communication and how your gut health impacts your mental health. But no one really talks about the gut vagina connection, which I actually made a video about this on my TikTok page about a week or so ago. Because a company called Evie, which is an at-home vaginal microbiome testing company that I use to get to the root cause of my recurring vaginal pH imbalances, they release research articles, and they recently released an article on the gut vagina connection, and I interpreted it on my TikTok page. So I can link it down below also. But ordering a test with Evie changed my life because I was dealing with pH imbalances for 2 years and didn't know what was causing it. And turned out I had a high level of a bad bacteria called Gardnerella that was causing me to have BV-like symptoms without it being BV. So I used that company to get to the root cause, and I healed myself from the recurring pH imbalances literally in 1 week. And so if you want to use Evie, I do have a link to get $20 off your first order, and it's also in my link tree down below. So you guys can check that out. But to go ahead and get started, what is the gut-vagina connection? So what we eat directly impacts our vaginal health, right? And our mental health and everything else. So if we have a diet that's high in added sugar, ultra-processed foods, alcohol, that can lead to more stress, depression, anxiety, ADHD, OCD, all those acronyms. It can lead to skin issues, and it can also lead to vaginal issues like yeast infections, BV, UTIs, and making you more susceptible to STDs. So the gut-vagina connection it may seem like something separate, but they're actually closely connected through the microbiome and the immune system. So a disruption in your gut health can influence your vaginal health, particularly infections, discharge, pH balance, and inflammation. So what we eat directly impacts our vaginal health. That is why you probably all know this already, but they say to eat pineapples to make your vag taste sweet, or drink cranberry juice to help prevent UTIs. What we eat is directly feeding our gut, our vaginal microbiome. So it's really, really important that you're nourishing your body with the proper nutrients in order to support your vaginal health. So the microbiome, so we have different microbiomes in our bodies, right? Like we have our oral microbiome, our vaginal microbiome, our gut microbiome. It's just a host of bacteria. It's like a house of bacteria, good bacteria, good fungi, bad fungi. Um, it just houses trillions of bacteria that regulate digestion, immunity, hormone metabolism, inflammation. So this is referring to the gut microbiome, right? Then the vaginal microbiome is dominated by lactobacillus, which is a good bacteria that helps to keep our pH low and fight off harmful microbes. Someone's asking to see my hair. This is my hair. My friend here in Curacao did my hair for my birthday. Her name is shepretty.beauty on Instagram, and she's really, really great. And this is the other side. Let me stay on topic for this video, and then I'll answer questions after. So the vaginal microbiome is dominated by lactobacilli, which is a good protective bacteria, like I said, that keeps your pH low and fights off harmful microbes. So when you are low in lactobacilli, this is what can lead to you getting recurring infections. And there's also a condition called cytolytic vaginosis, which is when you have too much good bacteria that causes the same symptoms as yeast infection. So if you keep having yeast infection like symptoms, but you're testing negative for yeast, talk to your GYN about getting tested for this, because it may be this, and obviously antifungals will not work with this condition because it's not a fungal based condition. It's the fact that you have too much lactobacilli. So the connection between your gut and your vag microbiome is that an imbalance in your gut bacteria, aka gut dysbiosis, can lower lactobacilli levels in your vag naturally, which increases your risk of BV, yeast infections, and inflammation. So, how your diet impacts your microbiome. So, like I told you guys, a diet rich in sugar, ultra processed foods, or antibiotics feeds the bad bacteria in your gut. So, antibiotics, the word antibiotic, antibacterial. So, it takes away the bad bacteria, but also wipes away your good bacteria, allowing for bad bacteria and bad fungi to overgrow. So, when you are constantly on antibiotics, your gut is basically destroyed. If you're not replenishing it with probiotics and probiotic rich foods, your gut is destroyed, which can then obviously destroy your vaginal health as well. So this can shift your gut and your vaginal microbiome, which is why you want to consume more fiber-rich foods, because fiber does help to feed probiotics. It depending on what kind of fiber it is. Like if it's a prebiotic fiber, those feed probiotics. Fiber also helps go to the bathroom, which helps to eliminate waste. When you can eliminate waste, you can let go of excess toxins in the body that can be contributing to your recurring vaginal infections. Fiber also produces what's called short-chain fatty acids that help to fight inflammation in your gut and in your body overall. Plant-based diets support the growth of beneficial bacteria both in your gut microbiome and your vaginal microbiome. Different colors from fruits and vegetables are different antioxidants, and our microbiomes love diversity. So the more different fruits and colors you can get from different vegetables and fruits, the more diverse our gut is and the more good bacteria you have. So instead of you just having a red pepper every day, having a red pepper, a yellow pepper, and a green pepper, and an orange pepper, and just keep diversifying the colors in your diet from fruits and vegetables. That makes a really big difference. And of course, lack of hydration can make an impact because that can dehydrate you, which can cause vaginal dryness, which can obviously cause infections and also just cause irritation in general. And then if you're having too much alcohol, alcohol in itself is really inflammatory. It is level 1 carcinogen. And so alcohol serves absolutely no purpose. It's also really dehydrating as well. So if your diet is really high in alcohol, you're not drinking any water, you're also consuming a diet that's really high in ultra processed foods and sugar and things like that, and obviously you are harming your gut, and that's going to impact your vaginal health if you're dealing with recurring vaginal infections, but also just impact your vaginal health in general. So leaky gut and vaginal symptoms. So leaky gut is basically when your gut lining is damaged and it allows toxins to stream into your bloodstream. And so leaky gut allows toxins and inflammatory compounds into the bloodstream, triggering immune responses and hormonal disruptions that can lead to recurring yeast or BV, vaginal dryness, PMS or irregular cycles, and also chronic fatigue or mood swings. So if you want to know if you have leaky gut, you do want to do what's called a GI map test, which is basically a home functional test that allows for you to do it's a lab, and it tests for bacteria, viruses, fungi, your inflammation markers, um, parasites. So it tests for it basically is like a test of your gut microbiome to see what bacteria you have more of, what you have less of, and what you need to work on. I do have a friend. I always forget her username. I need to just write down at this point. But her name is Joanna, and she's a gut health functional medicine dietitian, and she does offer GI map tests. So I'll link her down below so I can you guys can work with her if you want to do a map test. And that way you'll know if you have leaky gut or not. And then obviously she puts on a protocol to help you heal from that. But you'll know if you have leaky gut if you have a lot of like brain fog, fatigue, you have a lot of skin issues, poor digestion, things like that. So those are just some symptoms of that. And then on to the topic of antibiotics and birth control, which is a double-edged sword. So as I talked about before, antibiotics wipes away your good and bad bacteria in your gut and in your vagina. Hormonal birth control can alter your gut flora, increase yeast, and suppress lactobacilli. So I'm not a fan of birth control at all. I 100% believe that birth control is what gave me PCOS, because PCOS doesn't even run in my family at all. There isn't a single person in my family that has PCOS, and I ended up getting PCOS, and I was just like, what the fuck? That's so random. Like, what doesn't even run in my family? It could be a combination of stress, of course, from school and the birth control. Birth control also gave me cystic acne, because before I had a regular acne, and ever since birth control, now I've always had cystic acne. So I don't like birth control at all, and I don't believe that we should be putting any synthetic hormones in our bodies. Obviously, GYNs have a different opinion, but that's because they're medicine-based. I'm not medicine-based. So there is a natural way of doing birth control by using herbs. And I follow a girl who talks about it. I forgot her name, but I will, if I remember, I'll put it down below. So I'll put down my friend, and I'll also put down that girl so you can learn about how to do hormonal birth control. And there's also hormonal abortion options too, so using Plan B. But I'll put those all down below. But of course, before taking any herbs or supplements, speak with a doctor or a trusted healthcare professional like an herbalist or a functional medicine doctor or naturopathic doctor. Don't just take herbs on your own if you're not well versed in them. This is just education, it's not medical advice, so keep that in mind. But yes, hormonal birth control can alter your gut flora, increase yeast, and suppress lactobacilli. And the solution for antibiotics and hormonal birth control would be to use probiotics or fermented foods to rebuild balance during and after use. So it's really important that you're using probiotic-rich foods like kimchi, kefir, yogurt, miso, tempeh, probiotic drinks, things like that, right? So it's really important. Then you have stress and the gut-vagina axis. So chronic stress increases your cortisol levels. Increased cortisol can lead to insulin resistance, and that in itself can cause recurring yeast infections. My video yesterday was about the connection between insulin resistance with recurring vaginal infections. If you have diabetes, prediabetes, PCOS, you definitely want to check that video out. But when you have increased cortisol levels, this suppresses our immune system. When our immune system is suppressed, we cannot fight off infections the way we're supposed to, and that can cause the recurring yeast infections, BV, UTI, whatever. So chronic stress increases cortisol, which can damage your gut lining and alter gut bacteria, because our gut bacteria has a high turnover rate, so it can change within 24 hours. And this can reduce immune function and lower protective vaginal bacteria. Stress also lowers your progesterone, which can affect your discharge and lubrication. So if you have a lot of stress and you're dealing with vaginal dryness, this may be why. But stress is like the number one cause of any disease in the body. Stress is like the seed, and when it starts to bloom, it leads to like diseases, recurring infections, conditions, inflammation. Like it's always stress, because stress suppresses your immune system. And most Americans are in stress because they're living in survival mode. And so when you're in survival mode, you're automatically in stress, and stress impacts your life in many different ways negatively. So now we're going to talk about probiotics for vaginal and gut health. So oral probiotics, specifically ones like Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Lactobacillus reuteri, help to restore balance in both your gut and your vag. So I have probiotics in my Amazon storefront that has these two strains. It's the Garden of Life vaginal probiotic and also the Gyrodophilis vaginal probiotic. I like those two the most, in my opinion. Of course, you choose whatever works for you, but I have those in my Amazon storefront. Of course, probiotic-rich foods. And not all probiotics are created equal, so strain specificity matters. So like, for example, you wouldn't want to use, I don't know, like a mood probiotic to help you with your vaginal infections, because different probiotic strains do different things, right? So L. crispatus is a really popular, not popular, it's a well-known probiotic strain that protects your vaginal immunity. So that's why I was using Seeds intravaginal probiotic suppository when healing, because it has 3 strains of L. crispatus, which helps to basically strengthen your vaginal microbiome. So when looking for a probiotic, look for one that has L. crispatus, L. rhamnosus, and L. reuteri. If you're dealing with recurring vaginal infections, that's really, really important. And because of the gut-vaginal connection, what we eat impacts our vag. So the more probiotics we get, the better, as long as you're not over-consuming probiotics, because that can lead to the cytolytic vaginosis. Now I want to talk about hydration and detox pathways. So like I told you guys before, dehydration can cause vaginal dryness. And also, it can slow down your digestion and toxin elimination. So that can lead to backed up waste, like constipation, which can encourage harmful bacteria to overgrow, to what I was talking about before, which is why it's really important that you're going to the bathroom every single day. So this can translate into foul vaginal odors or chronic infections. So make sure that you're going to the bathroom every single day. We also eliminate excess estrogen through our poop. So if we're not pooping every day, we are holding on to excess estrogen, and that in itself can cause some recurring vaginal infections. So your pH balance, what's normal and why it matters. So the gut pH and vaginal pH are both critical for friendly bacteria survival, and a vaginal pH above 4.5 favors harmful bacteria and infection. So your vaginal pH should be around 3.8 to 4.5, and you'll know that your vagina is in a really good spot when your discharge kind of bleaches your panties, because it shows that your vag is in a really good acidic state. And so gut issues like slow transit time and also constipation can lead to systemic imbalances that alter your vaginal pH. So it's really important that you are eating a lot of whole foods, fibers, carbohydrates, good quality proteins, healthy fats, and also hydrating with mineral water, electrolyte water to keep your body functioning as optimally as possible. And the next topic is how to heal the gut vag axis naturally. So I just told you guys, diverse, high fiber, colorful whole foods, adding fermented foods, not just supplements, staying hydrated and managing your stress. So I do have a video on nervous system regulation when it comes to healing your recurring vaginal infections. So that one is really, really, really important because stress suppresses your immunity, increases your cortisol, and that can cause a different array of issues. Limit your added sugar and processed food intake. Support your liver and gut with herbs like dandelion, ginger, and turmeric. And also avoid unnecessary antibiotics and also synthetic products as well. And that also includes synthetic clothing like fast fashion clothing like Shein and Temu. These clothes often hold on to what's called xenoestrogens, which are basically chemically made estrogens that are on the clothes, and that can seep into your body and cause estrogen dominance and hormonal imbalances. So be mindful of that also. But otherwise, that pretty much explains all there is to know about the gut-vagina connection. If you have any questions, put them down below. If you need help with healing your recurring vaginal infections, join the Vag Reset program or purchase my Vag Reset ebook. And follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Vag Healing Nutrition. And that is it for today's live. So I will see you all Monday, not tomorrow because I'm going somewhere tomorrow, but I will see you all Monday. Bye, everyone.